Hey guys, before we get started, you know what to do. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at LaunchpadPod, on our website, launchpadpod.com. Matt, where are we today?
We are at our very last day, last afternoon now, of San Diego Comic-Con. We are at the Convention Center 2023, and what a fucking con it has been.
I mean, I think we've set life goals like...
We keep making new records and breaking them.
This is ridiculous. You know what? Let's just get on with the show.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, welcome to the Launchpad Podcast. I'm Aaron.
I'm Matt.
And buddy, we're in the same room together.
Yeah, that's true.
We're never together.
It's been a while. It's been a couple years, right?
Dude, it's been years since I moved down to Atlanta. It's been since 2020.
Before pandemic or during pandemic? Right before pandemic?
Yeah.
Rumi ran out of my house like in a disaster movie when in the beginning of The Happening. Him and his wife jumped in their car and drove away to Georgia.
We literally had an escape from LA where we're like, hey, we heard we're going to lock the city down. The NBA quit. We're just going to get the fuck out of here. Bye. And we drove for 48 hours to Atlanta. But we're back. We're together again. The Rocketeers at it. San Diego.
And this has been a great con because we had two panels. So a couple months ago, I was confirmed that we got two panels. We were wicked excited about it. Rumi was like, listen, I'm going to try to get there, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, but I'll do what I can. Yep. So I was working on prepping panels. He was working on getting his ass here. Yep. And he was like, I'm not sure. We started to make a whole bunch of promo stuff. We made a bitchin' banner. We made T-shirts. He designed business cards, T-shirts. And I think that process got him so excited. His little tail was wagging. He was like, I need to come down here. And in the middle of the week that we started designing that shit, he was banging out these baller designs, and he's like, I'm booking flights. I'm coming down. And then it was on.
It was on, yeah, because literally he was like, I have two panels. And I was like, man, I think I'm going to be working. And then all the strikes happened, and everybody lost their job. And it was like,
yes.
Yeah. It's like silver lining is I'm going to Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
Had to make it happen, man. If I had missed this, it would have been one of the biggest FOMOs of my life, where I'm just like, not only a fear of missing out, I did miss out. I would have regretted it. It
has been a great con, and we've been able to check off some giant boxes.
We had panels at the big show, brother.
Two panels, and they both went fantastic. The first one we had was Ghostface's Killer Trivia, where we had our buddy Roger L. Jackson, the voice of Ghostface from the Scream franchise.
Friend of the show, Roger Jackson.
Yep. We did some pre-recorded stuff with him. He wasn't able to call in live, but we did give him 40-something horror questions in 3 different difficulty levels. It wasn't easy, medium, hard.
It was PG, PG-13, and R, because of the pirate shit.
And
R.
We did that, and we started this panel. We start talking about this trivia we're going to do, and my phone rings. And me and Rumi look at the phone, looked at each other, looked at everybody else, and everybody was laughing. Rumi had this great sound effect of a phone ringing with this music sting, just crescendoing into and then we answer it. And Roger L. Jackson's voice comes through that speaker. Everyone went fucking wild.
Fucking nuts.
Was crazy.
Matt, though, here's the thing. We had been pushing this all day, handing out flyers.
Gorgeous flyers.
Anybody with a horror shirt on, we're like, you got to come. And when we get there, the room fits 440 people.
That's what I was told by someone who worked in that room. They said this is 440 seats.
There's not an empty seat in the house.
Literally.
Not an empty seat in the house. 450 people came to see you boys throw out some horror trivia questions, and immediately it's like, some of our plans are not going to work.
We were going to give out racquetball tickets at the door. The problem was there's already 400 people in the room. So we had to sidestep and change that on the fly.
There were a handful of quick pivots, because also we were like, oh, we'll have time to set up prizes of prize piles for the winners. oh, that suddenly was going to take 10 minutes.
Then there was 400 people watching us try to bake piles with our like literally $1,000 worth of prizes. We had Blast from the Past, Dark Delicacies, and the Mystic Museum Slashback Video donated a bunch of prizes. They're all in Los Angeles. NECA. We had a great interview at the NECA booth with our man Blaine.
Blaine's
and
cool.
NECA gave us a ton, or 5 or 6 different NECA action figures that we looped into our prize bin too. Monster Matador, Steve Prince gave us a bunch of comics. Shit, I'm wondering if I'm even forgetting anything. There was, Cavity Colors gave us a bunch of Launchpad shirts.
Dave Schrader gave us
Launchpad shirts.
Yeah.
Ghostface shirts.
Dave Schrader
was going to give us some comics. And this shit just started rolling right from there. We got some good contestants. We were joking with everybody. I don't want to pat around backs, but every joke was hitting. Everyone was having a good time. Everyone was laughing, taking pictures.
Big shout out to Jacob.
Jacob in his Ghostface costume. And he was number 1 contestant.
Yep.
The best part was he was nailing it. He didn't get any questions wrong and clearly was the leader of the pack.
So we're giving questions out. We're hitting him with questions, and if you get it right, you stay. If you get it wrong, you sit down. And Jacob's doing a great job, dressed as Ghostface, and the crowd's getting behind him a little bit.
Yeah, everyone's and then
the moment that turned it
things
into
shit changed.
He became a hero, and we were the ones on the losing side. Is when we get to the hard round, and we're like, okay, this is rated R. You ready for this? Were you ready for the rated R level questions? Name the first 11 words. Say the first 11 words in the Chucky Voodoo chant. And everybody's like, oh, shit.
Jacob leans in. Every answer, he stood like a foot from the mic and leaned in, and he went, Ade Dewey Dembela.
Give me the power.
And as he kept going, the whole fucking room erupted. Roomy high five moment for sure. We could not help ourselves. And it was like everybody was so jazzed at that point. And like even before then, everyone was there to have fun. We were worried that people would be like, well, how come I didn't get picked? Or why is, Ghostface not really here? Like, we were worried about all these things that might be problems. Everybody that was there to have fun, everybody was laughing, and most people knew their trivia. I feel like we had some pretty good questions because some of them were easy, some of them were hard, some of them got right away, some of them we hit 2 or 3 people before we got an answer. So I think between me, Aaron, and actually Roger contributed a couple questions as well. I think we had a really good round of questions. We had so many bitchin' prizes to give out. Everybody was freaking psyched. Jacob won. At one point, remember, everyone was yelling. I was like, because at that point, Jacob had won. And I was like, what do you guys say? Should we try to stump Jacob? And everyone was all on board. It was just Jacob versus the list at that point, right? Jacob versus Ghostface. Ghostface or Ghostface, because he was dressed as
He crushed every single one of them. I don't think we beat him on a question. Because they were chanting, Jacob.
The whole room, 400 people. How cool.
But then after we had crowned our king and started handing out prizes, then we just did like a trivia raffle where it was just like
it's just speed round. Just raise your hand. We'll call on you, and you get this. You get this.
Throwing out questions, throwing out prizes, and then we reached the end. We had like 5 minutes left, and we did our freeze frame final cut, and this was a thing that I put together.
Is that the one that we did? There was one that we did stump Jacob. Was that the one?
Well, and that was the one. So we had freeze frames from movies, and people had to guess the movie and be very specific.
Some of them were tricky. Some of them were easy. Some was like, it was a Chucky face, but it was specifically from Child's Play 2.
And then we got to Carnival of Souls, and one guy knew that, and he was really excited that he's like, I knew it. And we met him on the bus later, and he was all pumped about that. And then
you're the trivia guys.
And then we got to the very end, and I had a freeze frame from VIY, which is a 1967 Russian horror film that has some really bad special effects. And everybody was like, Jacob, does Jacob know? And he's like, it's the one I don't know. And I was like, don't feel bad. I literally got this one to try and I'm trying to knock people out at this point. So we were literally trying to to stump you. So I am so proud that I had the one stump killer that was going to knock people out.
That was supposed to be like our nuclear option. That was like if there was a head-to-head challenge and no one was going down, that was going to be the one to target somebody.
Yeah,
but it was fun. And then the panel ends.
Yeah,
and we get crowded by like no joke. What would you say? 22, 20 people?
Like 7, but
oh, it was not because we had each of us. We both had different ones. So we got to do this trivia. People came up to us. People asked us for our name placards. People asked to take pictures with us. people were doing trivia to us. Did you guys know this? Did you guys know this?
Yeah.
Taking pictures.
I was terrified for a second because you realize, wait, you've just been hammering people with trivia and they think it's their turn.
Yeah, now they're like,
luckily, I know my shit. But
yeah.
But it is suddenly you're like, I have to be on right now. And like, of course they stumped me on some of them and they got me on, and I was proud that I knew most of the ones they had me. I was like, good. I don't like a complete.
Yeah, I don't want to look stupid now. Shout out to Ghost. A girl came up to me dressed as an X-Wing pilot, and she's like, I just wanted to show you that my name is Ghost. And she showed me her name tag, and her name is Ghost. So, and I was giving everyone names when I was calling on people. Like, there was Green Shirt Girl, there was Face Girl, there was Spam Hat, and those people came over, and they were telling me their real name.
Oh, yeah.
Spam Hat.
Yeah, big shout out to anybody from that panel who are now listeners who reached out to us, Face Girl and her friend. I apologize, I don't have your names known yet. I was like, let me check on my phone. I'm like, I'm recording on my phone.
If you didn't get called on, we don't know your name.
I just know you guys by your nicknames now. Demolition Man,
and costumes. Yeah. But it was a fun panel, right?
I was like, are you Demolition Man or are you Dallas?
Yeah.
And then he's like, neither. And I was like, oh,
Corbin Dallas.
Well, you look like an action movie star. So
yeah,
on you,
Wesley
buddy.
Snipes in Demolition Man.
Right.
Oh man, Cyrus, I think his name was.
But that was awesome.
It was. I mean, we felt like kings. I'll be honest. It was really cool. It was a good high to go out, and that was Thursday night. So that was our first full day at the con.
And the next day, Matt goes, "Today, what will make my day if somebody comes up to us and is like, man, I was at the panel and that was awesome." Like 4 or 5 people did.
Yeah, it was. Which again, like 4 or 5 people, and they weren't like, "Look, it's Matt Corrigan, the handsomest guy who does the best trivia." They were like, "Hey guys, great panel last night. Hey, you're the trivia guys. Hey, Launchpad." And it was like, it was cool just to get that sort of recognition, and people were taking pictures with us, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday, we got a boy, like a younger kid, like a teenager kid, came up to us, was asking us about the panel, and then telling us that he had a podcast, and he wanted us to be on his show, which was like very flattering and very cool to see him doing his thing, that the way that we do it too. And as a young kid, it was cool.
I believe his name was Angel. Right?
Yep.
Angel. If you're listening, hit us up, man. I'm serious. Like, we'll be on your show. Cross promote, I appreciate that. I respect that hustle so much.
Not just it was hustle for sure, but we wouldn't be on any Jackholes show. Yeah. He had a Tenebrae shirt on. So right away, you're like, if you know what Tenebrae is, I will have a conversation with you, right?
100%. That kid knew his stuff, so we're excited. Hopefully you reach out to us, man. I had a great second day because we were cruising around the con, and I heard that El Hijo de Santo is having a signing. And I was like, I am a huge Santo fan.
Remind them who Santo is in case they don't know.
The greatest luchador of all time. He is a huge star of the screen and ring. A famous wrestler, and this is his son, who has taken up the mantle and another great luchador of screen and ring. And I went over there and got to meet him, got pictures with him. I gave him a copy of Steve Prince's book, Monster Matador.
That Rumi has nothing to do with. He was just messengering the book to him.
And they were like, sign the book. It's an honor. Sign the book. And I was like, okay. But I put them in contact. I'm going to put them in contact with Steve Prince because, well, we'll see what happens. But very excited to have met them. And they signed my shirt and they signed a poster. I am over the moon with how that went, and just.
And I told Rumi to go up behind him and just grapple him to the ground. He didn't take that approach, but I thought that would be more memorable.
You'd think that would be an approach I'd be on board for, but no, I actually...
if someone told you not to do it, you would fucking do it. This has been a very hard con logistically. It has been very difficult to get help. There's been a lot of obstacles in the way, and then when you say, like, you can't do that, okay, what is the way, like, what can I do instead? I don't know. Well, how do I do this then? I need to get to that. You can't. But no one's ever asked us that before.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out how to make a phone call work. Like,
someone call into the panel. Yeah. They're like, no one's ever asked that before.
Well, first we were
2023 at Comic-Con. No one's ever called into a panel?
Yeah.
No.
The first thing we asked was internet. Hey, can we have, what does it take to get internet in the room so we can have a Zoom call in? And they're like,
$8,000. Literally, the internet in the convention center, if you want to pay for it, reliable internet, starts $8,000. I wrote them back and was like, clearly that's a typo. For 50 minutes of internet, you meant $800, right? Which is still ridiculous.
Nope.
8,000. Okay, so we're not using computers for our panel. We figured it out though, and it worked. But it has definitely been like one of those like no one's ever asked us that before. Like that
Bananas.
It became not funny anymore because that was our joke for a while until we heard it for the umpteenth time. And we're like, now it's just annoying. Oh. We made it work. Everything's good. We've had I had amazing luck on the floor as a fan. I got some fantastic David Finch art that I'll put on the site and social media.
That is one of
I have a published page that had some blank panels as stats. He filled those in with the most gorgeous Moon Knight images, which I will then get to use in my book that we're doing. I'm part of a published book about Moon Knight essays. He is going to write the foreword for that now because of that interaction, so I'm very proud of that. We had a killer interview with J.G. Jones, the artist from the book Wanted. We had a killer interview with writer Jeff Loeb. We had a killer interview with Joe Quesada, Marvel editor-in-chief, writer, artist, Cup of Joe. After that one for fucking years. Jeff Loeb's my favorite writer, so after that one forever.
We'll have to heavily censor the Quesada one because Matt was cursing up a storm. and Mr. Quesada called him out on it. It's like, you mother know you talk like that?
And then I brought my fucking mother into it. 5 kids there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids just fucking walked by.
Right when we started cursing.
But no, I mean, the interviews are fantastic. I got a Quesada prelim for a Nightfall cover with his helmet, which was fantastic. People just gave you a little shocker salute. What was that? Did you see that?
That's a hang 10, man.
I didn't see the thumb. I just saw like this. And they're like, "Come here, little girl." So we said we're in the convention center. We're in kind of like a hallway where there's kind of some food over there. There's different avenues you can go to get to different rooms. There's a lot of foot traffic walking by. A lot of girls drooling. A lot of guys being like, "Oh, I wish I looked like that."
They're drooling over the podcast setup. The Tower of Power is impressing everybody.
No joke. As much as we're like tooting our own horns and excited about how many people have recognized us and have come to talk to us, he has gotten more comments, pictures, questions, and compliments for this beautiful setup here. I have pictures of him talking to people about it. He's got this Tower of Power monopod that he has built that is pretty cool, but like it is gotten more attention than anything else that we did this week.
Yeah, it's a monopod that can hold up to 4 microphones, our Zoom recorder, and a phone, and light up in case you need some extra illumination on your subjects. You can live stream, you can broadcast, you can record any format, any option. 4K, 1080p, I got you. It's I'm so proud of it.
Trying to think what else. I mean, it hasn't been without its downsides, like sleeping in the bog.
Oh, God, the bog suite.
We have
the swamp suite, as Kate called it. The swamp suite.
We have a smelly, sweaty room where when you walk in, a little bit of an odor, just a little bit of an odor hits you. It's a smelly, wet, damp room, and you just walk in, and it's just not wet, it's just damp. But everything is damp.
Everything.
The carpet is damp.
Wet.
The TV's damp.
Your
the sheet
sheets
is
are
damp. And I didn't really notice that was what the problem was. I was there one night before Rumi got there, and I was like, oh yeah. And then you like leave and you come back, and then it's a little bit cooler, but not what you'd think air conditioning would feel like.
The smell that hits you when you walk in of just like mildew.
Yeah. And it was just on the cusp of like asking or complaining about, but fuck it, we were having too much fun and it wasn't that bad. We were snuggling anyway, so it was okay.
It's been an exceptional con, but big shout out for the Ghostface panel. Big shout out to our Oompa Loompas.
We had a couple Oompa Loompas. Describe what an Oompa Loompa is.
We got people some badges to get in, and we said, hey, we can get you badges, but you got to help us out, please. And so big shout out to we consider him our first listener, but who isn't like our family members. Brian Ivanhoe helped us out beyond belief, and your 2 friends.
My friend Aaron and Wyatt. Aaron is a grown-up. Wyatt is almost grown-up. They came to help out, too. They were handing out raffle tickets until we scrapped that idea, and that wasn't their fault. It was ours. But then they were our prize people. Brian was doing some filming. He has the video,
Videographer.
and the Sacos were handing out prizes to all of our wonderful winners that were doing stuff, keeping things locked down, helping people get business cards and advertisements and stuff for all the people that sponsored that panel. So thank you very much to those Oompa Loompas. And then our other panel, which we'll talk about in a moment, our other panel, we had some good helpers too.
Yeah.
We had my friend Rachel Nelson, who was like Chief Oompa Loompa. And then we also had Brian Ivanhoe again. Yep. And we also had a buddy named Dan who came. He was Gary Geriani's buddy, came and he filmed the whole thing with a very fancy looking camera, which I have not seen the footage yet, but I'm assuming it looked pretty good.
Better than my phone, probably.
But yeah, that panel was pretty good. You want to? Yeah,
Rachel's been hanging out with us this weekend, so let's bring her on and get her opinion of the con. What do you say? Yeah, so we have Rachel Nelson with us.
Hey,
how's it going?
Going great.
You been having fun?
Yes.
Oh man, so you've been helping us out. You've been hanging out with us for the past few days on the con, and you were at our panel last night. So we can start with that. Dinosaurs Attacks. Who was on our panel, Matt?
So we had Handsome Boy 1,
yeah.
2. We had creator of Dinosaurs Attacks card series, Gary Girani. He was working at Topps for a long time, created and worked on tons of different card series for them. Then
he's been on the show.
He's been on the show.
If you haven't heard it, it's a great one.
At least once, if not twice before, for Dinosaurs Attacks specifically. A friend of mine and Gary's named Greg Goldstein, who used to be the president and publisher at IDW Comics. He also used to work for Topps. He didn't work on Dinosaurs Attacks, but he's worked on a ton of other series after that. He was a Dinosaurs Attacks fan, which is how I met him. Ended up purchasing some original card art from that series from him, and then we just kind of hit it off from there. Even though we don't have, he pointed out on the panel, even though we don't have the same art taste, we do overlap right in Dinosaurs Attacks area. So he and I have been friends forever, and I was like, you got to be on this panel. And then the thing that I think we were all, even those people I just mentioned that we were all the most excited about was a paleontologist, Dr. Ashley Paust. He came and was just like talking about like how fucked up these cards were, and then also giving some really cool actual facts. Right?
Yeah.
So Rachie was we were calling Rachie our ring girl. She had her Winter Soldier dress on, and she would walk around with
I took that job seriously.
Yeah. She brought a whole change of clothes specifically for that. She didn't wear that the whole day. That was just for the ring girl job.
Yeah.
So you were kind of half watching, but also half involved with the panel.
Yes.
What was like one of the most fun or coolest parts for you?
I think the coolest thing for me was when I was actually walking around with some of the art, and we had the prelim, then the sketch, and then the finished painting. And the way that I would show them the prelim, and I showed them in that order, so they got to see it from as it's going through, and just the look on people as they're seeing it, they're like looking at the prelim, and you could just see that okay, yeah, that's chicken scratch, good job. And then they see the sketch.
The super prelim was very loose.
It was
just the shapes, the basic shapes.
And then they see the sketch.
Just finished pencils.
Yeah, and they're like, whoa. And then they see the art and just all of the different reactions as you see them going through that and then going, oh my God, that is fucking awesome.
Cool. I wish I got to see some of those faces.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And just that the eyes just always lighting up and just going, oh, literally coming out of their faces, just like, oh my God.
That really was one of my favorite parts, is when we started scrolling through the cards on screen. There were a lot of people there who had never seen the cards before. Yeah. And there was one that was like a young adult was there with her family, and her mom was like, you gotta be shitting me. She started cracking up the first card we put up, and Matt was like, who's already laughing?
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's right.
We were cracking up, and
one of the other ones that got a huge reaction was the roller coaster one where it's going into the mouth of the dinosaur. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden that came on, and you guys weren't even talking about it. I'm thinking Greg is doing his whole spiel about the story and such. But that card popped up, and everyone in the back, all the other paleontologists that were there, all just start bursting into laughter.
It doesn't even look like a dinosaur. Its mouth is literally a 90-degree angle. The dinosaur that is broken the tracks of a roller coaster, and it's and the roller coaster track is going into his mouth. It doesn't really look like a real dinosaur. It's just ludicrous. Another one that got a good reaction that I heard was there's maybe a 7 or 8 foot tall dinosaur. and there's a little girl, like a 5-year-old girl, with
yeah.
a bazooka on her shoulder, and a baby in a stroller next to her, and she's literally blowing the guts out of this dinosaur. When we flicked to that one, everybody was cracking up. It's ludicrous.
Well, and yeah, so Dr. Ashley, he brought a bunch of colleagues with him, former students and colleagues, and it's all these scientists and
other PhDs. There was
Yes.
literally 5 or 6 at least PhDs in the crowd.
And they were here for Comic-Con. I think some of them had a Star Trek panel that they had done, and they do a Star Trek podcast. So big shout out to them for coming out to see us. But they were having a great time, which made me so happy because I was always worried, like, from the scientific aspect, somebody would be like, man, that doesn't work for me, and then like not have fun. But everybody was having a great time.
They were cool, and Dr. Ash, I kept calling him Dr. Ash, Dr. Ashley Paust. He was very knowledgeable. He gave really, I thought, digestible, understandable tidbits of information in quick little spots instead of being like, well, and he was really freaking funny.
He was funny.
He fit the vibe easily.
He was really funny.
What's something that you heard last night scientifically, like a fact that you didn't know before? Like, because he did give us a lot of dinosaur information.
Yeah, so the thing that it was specifically when he was talking about the new types of dinosaurs, and so like when he's talking about a saber-toothed tiger cat, like you've gotten that it was the toad that he talked about, and the fact that this
Beelzebub something, yeah.
And then the fact that
Demon toad.
Yeah, this toad has freaking giant, like, fangs that are as big as its head. And it's just like, I would never want to see that toad. I already don't like toads.
He said it was bigger than a house cat. This is
a huge toad. Like, it's one of those things that, you know how, like, sometimes the scariest thing is that thing that's small, like an ant or whatever, but if you blew it up, that's actually going to be more terrifying than anything else. So to me, like, a toad, if it goes from being like that big, a little toad, to that big, no, I do not want anything to do with that. I get that. Ugh.
And we did that during a really cool segment that Dr. Ash and I had kind of figured out together. He had said, looking at these cards, they look so dated. So many things have been discovered and found and named. That's actually something that Dr. Ashley does, is name these creatures. He said since '89, there's been so many new discoveries. It'd be interesting to see what some of those would look like as cards. And I was like, let me see if Gary will draw it. So Dr. Ash gave 2 examples of cards. The toad was the one that got, 2 examples of animals. The toad was the one that got picked. And then we went to the crowd for where should the toad be killing people. And people were yelling out some really deep-seated, unconscious angst.
Cathartic.
Like the
DMV,
IRS.
Get those guys.
Someone yelled out library with a shh sign behind them. And immediately we knew that was going to be the one. So Gary started sketching that, and I have the original art. If you check our websites and social media, you'll be able to see that.
So that was really cool because he then did basically a prelim. And now I think because everyone got to see that original prelim, then the pencil art, then the other art, bringing around this like really quick chicken scratch sketch, now everyone knows the process, and they got to almost put their embellishments in their head, and now they're imagining.
The sketch,
so they
the drawing themselves.
That was also crazy is when I brought that one around, because again, it's really, really rough, but that got an even bigger reaction than some of the other more complete art.
Did it really?
Yes, it did.
See, that
was so
sure
cool. Because and I think it really was because they got to see some of the other art and see the process of the art and then understand, I now see where this fits in that.
That makes me happy because we were like, so at the end of that that panel, while we were finishing that part up, we got everybody. There was a real big screen that Rumi was flipping through all of the slides. We had all of the cards on file as well as some of the old, like, 50s and earlier even dinosaur and giant radiation monster movies. Posters, which
I'm so glad I pulled those up. Yeah, I'm so glad I had
First
those.
Of all,
it gives reference.
This man killed that PowerPoint presentation. It was just all his slides ready to rock. And then while we were talking on the panel, Rumi was swipping to the cards that we were talking about at any given point, and he was fast, man. He was on the spot. But everyone was just cracking up, following along. But at the end, I had this idea to get the panelists under one of those giant slides.
Calamity at Comic-Con.
And that's right. And then I was like, wait. Everybody, let's have everybody stand up, go stand underneath the slide. So everyone in there was only about 50 people in the crowd, but still 50 people. They all came underneath that thing, and then they were like, acting like the dinosaur was jumping on them while we were taking the picture. And then after that, I thought people were starting to leave, but that's when you brought the prelim that we had sketched on stage. So you think most people did get to see that?
Yeah, I think most people got to see it, and it was real. And it was also interesting because the minute I started walking again, like I remember cowboy hat. Like the minute I saw he was like about to leave, and he saw me walking up again with a piece of paper, he like turned around and was like, "Wait,
nice.
back over here."
That makes me so happy to hear.
My favorite thing about that guy, he has a podcast as well, and
yeah, you were chatting him out. He was chatting you
again,
up.
I don't have my phone. My phone is recording. Otherwise, I'd pull up your guys' names. But yeah, Cowboy Hat was like, I was trying to go to a different panel and had to wait, and I came in yours, and now I'm here and not going to that other panel. I'm gonna be late to the other panel because your panel's so good. And I'm like, yes, like that's what I love to hear is that I didn't know you, but I came in, saw what you're doing, I'm hooked. I want more of that, and it's like that's so amazing.
The same thing when that panel ended. A bunch of other people came down, and then this time, because it wasn't just you and I, some people came down to talk to Dr. Ashley Paust, and we're talking to him about actual dinosaur stuff. He had brought some tickets to, I don't know if I said it at the top of this segment, but he works at the Museum of Natural History down here in San Diego. So he offered some passes to people. People came up, swamped him for those right away. Everyone was talking to him about that. People came up to Gary. Gary had some books and some magazines and some comic books to sign to Greg to look at his
somebody
art.
brought the box of dinosaur attacks.
Yeah, so there was clearly a couple people in there who liked it.
Dude,
or I knew it beforehand.
At the panel, we had a huge reveal that Gary Gianni revealed that the reaction figure, the Super 7 reaction? Super 7 reaction figures is doing a dinosaur attack figure of the devil god of dinosaurs. But not only that, the devil god of dinosaurs holding a tiny little scientist. And the fun fact is, the scientist in the Dinosaurs Attack series, who appears in several cards, is Gary Gianni.
Yeah, they used multiple, pretty much everybody in Topps, right? As we've discovered last night, they used the staff and Topps in the cards. They painted those people's characters in these cards. And their friends and family and stuff like that, other famous artists that they worked with.
He even said what he would do is he would go around and take their pictures and be like, okay, I need you to scream, take the picture.
Sure,
I need you to go do this, I'm going to take a picture. And then use that as all of their reference images.
So cool. It was really a fun panel. And yeah, everyone came down, everyone had fun, people talking to us. We got to sign autographs.
Woo,
I don't know if
we
that was
did.
our first time, but it might have been the first time we signed an autograph.
Signed one for Santo.
That was a lot of fun. That was a good panel. And people were excited about it, enough so that we actually have someone from that panel, a fan from the panel, came to talk to us about it.
Yeah, they were walking by and they're like, your panel was awesome last night. And then we were like, Matt was like, hey, does she want to talk about it? And I was like, no, don't. What if they're weird?
The minute he said it, I'm then up running.
Rachel ran in her dress. I was like, Rachel, get her for an interview.
And I was like, no. What if they're awkward? They don't want it. But she came back. It was super cool.
Oh, she was like, wait till you see this. You're gonna think we like
hired
coached
somebody.
her or something.
You're gonna think we coached her. She was fantastic.
Hey guys, we're here at Comic-Con. We met somebody that was at our panel last night, and I'm super pumped.
We're pretty big time now because we're about to record, and this young lady walks by and was like, "We loved your panel last night."
It was so good.
Which panel did you see?
The the on top.
Nothing Tops Dinosaurs.
Yeah, Nothing
Attacks?
Tops Dinosaurs. Thank you.
And
I love dinosaurs.
You look young. You look super young. I don't think you've ever seen these cards before last night.
No.
So
Sorry. Let me rephrase. I've seen them because my brother has shown me them, but I've never collected them or anything. And
your brother's cool.
Yeah, he was really cool. But he also knows that I really like dinosaurs. So he's like, I think you're gonna really like this panel. But we were stuck in a different one, so we had to run over and catch the last half. 45 minutes of your panel.
So your brother was with you last night too?
Yeah, he was sitting with me and stuff.
So
cool.
What do you like about dinosaurs? Why do you like dinosaurs? How did you get into dinosaurs? Tell us your dinosaur stuff.
I got into dinosaurs because of Jurassic Park. Initially, I watched that at a really young age, and it just stuck with me. And I think deep down in my heart, one day I wanted to be a paleontologist. Never happened, but that's okay. And it's so cool to know about beings, or to continue to learn about beings that used to be on this earth that I've never seen before. Because you sort of have, the scientific perspective, but then you sort of have the creative perspective, what they could be, or what they could have been like versus what they actually were like.
Sure.
And I don't know if we'll ever really precisely know, but also the fact that you guys had a paleontologist on the panel was
Right?
so freaking cool because I've never met one. So it was
And
sort of
did
like,
you talk
holy
to him
cow.
after?
I did, yeah. And he gave me like a little pass and stuff. And he said if I ever get to visit the museum, contact him and stuff. But like it was so innovative that you guys had not only Gary, remind you, right?
Yep, Gary Johnny, who is the creator of the card series.
Exactly.
And worked Tops for 100 years.
So it seemed, and then to have him on, to have Dr. Paus on the other side to kind of counter, or what do you call it, collaborate and counteractively have a good conversation during the panel too. That was really cool.
And let me ask you, like, because we were psyched about Dr. Ash Paus, Ashley Paus, the paleontologist. He was funny as hell, but he also had some really cool facts. So, like, I feel like someone like you who was legitimately interested in dinosaurs. I think there were people who were there just because the cards were funny and gross and gory, but like you specifically like dinosaurs. Did you learn anything new? Any science facts?
Oh yeah, I had no idea that herbivores actually like munch on bones for the calcium. Like that blew my mind.
Yeah.
But on top of that, to understand that like how actual herbivores can transition, can like eat I don't know, real animals.
Yeah.
Instead of just herbs or like plants or anything. Like that legitimately blew my mind.
Dr. Ash said that deer will eat like mice and squirrels and chipmunks and stuff.
And then I told my sisters about it after I got out of the panel. I talked about your panel for like hours last night. And they're like, yeah, there's a video online where you could see a cow eat a chick. And I was like, I'm okay. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that. But like knowing
I trust you.
But knowing that it exists, like I would have never, first of all, I would have never known about all these facts unless I went to your guys' panel. But then on top of that, knowing that there was a video like that in the universe. So
here's my big question.
What?
Did you try the gum?
Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, I did.
Describe. So we gave out packs, original packs from 1989, unwrapped packs of Dinosaurs Attack
35-year-old gum is in there.
And
Yeah,
literally,
35,
35-year-old gum. And Aaron's like, who's brave enough to eat it? And a good
Yeah,
amount
I
of
literally
people put
did
it in
it.
their
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah.
Describe, as best you can, your experience of taking the first bite.
It was like chalky and like cakey, like dry. There
crumbled.
yeah,
It took like a million. It's like when you smash auto glass. It just broke into 1,000 pieces.
And it doesn't taste like anything, so I was really disappointed. But honestly, I haven't opened one of those things in a long time. I didn't know that they didn't come wrapped. I thought the gum came wrapped at least, but they were literally just sitting on the piece
No, that
of
was
paper.
the 80s. They didn't know about germs and shit. They didn't
I
care.
had no idea.
It's just kids.
Oh.
Any parent that was giving their kids a card in which a child shoots through a dinosaur with a rocket launcher wasn't worried about what
It's
they were putting in
insane.
their mouth.
It's insane, yeah.
What? So you got the pack of cards. You tried the gum.
Yes.
What was either like one of your favorite cards, or like what was a card that you got in the pack?
Okay, so my favorite card that you guys put on the screen was the cat lady. When the cat lady strikes
You got a
back.
cat lady?
True. I didn't get that one, but that was the one I was hoping for. I actually so I was the one that traded for the Comic-Con.
Oh, you were in the back and you traded with Greg?
So now I do have my favorite card, the museum one. He gave me the museum one.
Oh,
And I was like,
cool.
that was my favorite. I was hoping to get
And
that
you
one.
got that from Greg.
Yeah, I got that one from Greg.
And Greg
yeah.
is like connected to those cards. He owned a ton of those original
that's
art, and then he
crazy.
ran the comic book company that printed the graphic novel and the reissues of the comic, which is
I
pretty
had
cool.
No
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's a big collector, and he's a big comic and art, and he worked at Topps. I don't think he worked at Topps with Gary. I don't remember. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong, guys. But like he worked at Topps for a long time too.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty. You got it like straight from the source.
Now I got my favorite card because of him. So
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
As well as awesome podcasts about dinosaurs, what brought you to the con today? What brought you down to San Diego?
Oh, I usually come every year with my family, with my siblings and stuff, and
Awesome.
we love looking at all the artwork. That's such. I bought a bunch of prints and stuff.
Cool.
The panels are really interesting this year, hence your panel. But yeah, usually it's just to go spend time with my family and experience the convention.
Do you
and
guys
stuff.
all live in the same area?
Sort of. We live in California, but I live in Los Angeles. They live in San Marcos. My older brother lives in Orange County, so we're all kind of spread out, but still in California.
And you all meet here as like a family affair?
Yeah, this time my brother actually picked me up, and then we all met in San Marcos, and then we drove down together. So
Mom,
yeah,
Dad, everybody?
no, just me and my 4 siblings.
How cool
So
is that though?
It's really fun.
What other kind of panels did you guys hit?
That's fun. That's a really good question. I went to a horror comics panel. I went to the Jim Lee and Friends panel. That was really cool. I got to learn a lot about DC Comics. And then your panel. And then the only other panel I went to was a masterclass in animation or something like that. It was really cool. Yeah.
That's
Pretty
cool.
neat.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
Oh, I work in entertainment.
What do you do?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say exactly.
Act it out. We'll guess.
Okay. No, I can't do
She's
it. I can't do
okay,
it. I
yeah.
cannot act it out.
Are you working on something that is hush hush?
No, I work at Apple TV Plus actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, in the talent relations department.
Oh,
so
okay,
yeah,
cool.
I just don't know if I'm like always
For
allowed
strike
to.
stuff?
Yeah.
But you're not promoting it.
No.
Just
I'm not
saying that
promoting, yeah.
there's a job that
yes,
exists
that
there.
is where
Okay.
I currently reside.
Cool.
for
Okay.
work.
Okay. Did you go at the end of our panel last night? We took a picture with all
Yeah,
the
I'm in
attendees.
that
Did you come
photo.
up?
Yeah, I'm in
So we
that
had a
photo.
giant screen with the cards up, and Rumi was flipping through all the cards as we spoke about them.
Yeah.
At the end, we put on one that is Comics Con disaster or something.
Yeah.
And it was a dinosaur smashing through a Comic Con.
Yeah.
We put that slide on and had everyone in the audience come up under it and act like the dinosaur's attacking. So you came there?
Yeah, it was
Awesome.
a really good op too. I was so excited when you guys asked about that. I was
So if
like,
you haven't
yay.
checked that out, check out our social media and you'll see that.
It's up there now, yeah.
If you feel like telling your name and your social media and stuff, you can. You don't have to do that if you don't want
Yeah,
to.
sure. Wait, my name and my yes.
Well, so like where people could connect with you online if you wanted that.
I'm under Queen of Dorkabine on Instagram. I know, guys. Sorry. I know.
was the perfect
I know.
guess.
I'm so sorry. I was
This is amazing.
I instantly regretted it right when I was like, oh God, I'm never gonna live this down.
Our millions of listeners are going to spam.
I wouldn't be surprised. Dinosaurs are awesome, but also what you guys do is like really cool too. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you
Thank
so
you for
much
the
for
panel. Thank you
asking.
for coming back and
Of
being on. We
course.
we
appreciate
need
it.
to see if she remembers.
Oh, do you remember that?
Oh yes. Hold on.
3, 2, 1.
I can't do a raspberry. I'm so sorry.
Wait, you
but
don't know how to?
I've never have done it before.
Here's how,
so,
okay. We're gonna learn this.
Oh
Ready?
my God! Now we're gonna
Stick
teach
your
it.
tongue out just a little bit,
Okay.
and then blow.
No, can't do it. Can't do it. I already knew it.
We're not
Because I
just trying
can't.
it one time.
Oh my God.
The-
Oh, I did it.
We're teaching
cannot-
life
This is
skills.
incredible.
Life skills on the Launchpad podcast.
There's
The new segment, life skills with the
There's
Launchpad.
moments in your life where it's like a new chapter. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's before this and after this. Like
Yeah.
for me, it was like before my son was born, after my son was born. Right now, there was before you knew how to blue raspberry and after. As important, yeah, that's true for me
Truly,
too. Yeah,
truly.
because now I have that milestone for you is now part
That's
of my
fair.
milestone
Yeah,
as well.
that's true. Actually, yeah, this is a milestone for me too. So this is great.
That was Annalise. Thank you very much for
No, thank
joining
you
us.
so much
That
for
was a lot
having
of
me.
fun.
Thank you.
My favorite thing that we did at the end of both panels, just when everybody's getting up to leave, man goes, wait. We got to do the secret handshake. And to teach a room of 450 people, the Launchpad podcast secret handshake, and to hear a room of 450 people go and give out a massive raspberry, that's music to my ears.
Everybody
man.
did it.
Everybody did it.
Like, on the panel, everyone was cracking up. It had Greg Goldstein and Gary Girani, the guys who worked at Tops. Watch them do it. Me, you, and Ash Dr. Ash did a 3-way handshake. I mean, we came to Comic-Con to talk about dinosaur cards about children getting stepped on by dinosaurs and got everyone to do a stupid handshake that ends in a fart.
It is the best.
Dreams can come true, kids.
I mean, Comic-Con dreams do come true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that
do you want to
absorbing,
know
man.
what's
That's awesome.
been my favorite part, though?
Which,
It's been getting to know you, Aaron.
oh,
I'm longtime friends with this knucklehead, but I have recently become online friends with that one. And this is our first time meeting. Yeah.
because we've been collaborating on the shirt and she found
Rachel printed our glow-in-the-dark ghost face shirts for our panel, which like no joke, 5 or 6 people asked to buy, and then the
Oh
next
my God,
day,
yes.
she wasn't at the ghost face panel.
No.
When she came, she had on a ghost face shirt, and immediately someone was like, "How did you get a shirt?" Some random person, which means they were at the panel the night before.
It was also
heard
like,
that we didn't
yeah.
have extra shirts and wanted to know why she got one.
And it was just definitely like, I have no clue why everyone's yelling at me about this thing. So I come up and I'm like, someone just like almost was like, why do you have a shirt?
Baller shreds. Yeah.
Yeah.
He designed the shit out of it. And she made them and glue in the dark.
Yeah.
On the
So
way
cool.
home, they were glowing in the dark on the bus. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And you're
Yeah.
the one who found the Brain Dead DVD in
Yes.
German, no less.
Yeah.
Send him a really cute present.
It was one of those things where I just was listening to the podcast. He talked about how his the thing that you did not buy when you should have bought it was a Brain Dead DVD. And then there's at my local antique mall, I was going through the stuff and found it in German and had to do like double takes. And I was like, this has got to be.
That can't be real.
This can't be real. And then I was like, I bought it, took it home, played it on my computer, and was like, okay, it works. Okay, I need your address. I'm sending it.
And it's awesome.
So
it's
we're not
awesome.
saying more of you need to buy us our dream, our dream merchandise and dream toys. We're not implying that.
But no, merch and toys. While you've been here, what have you seen merch and toy wise that has got you really pumped up? Like you said, we went and talked to NECA and saw. I mean,
NECA was fun. I mean,
I was so excited
NECA's
for the
always
Thing
great,
toys,
though.
the mutated dog toy. I had already known that
Box
existed. I was
set.
super pumped.
Two
but then,
creatures.
But then I go there and I see a shot up Alex Murphy and the My Bloody Valentine miner. I'm beyond stoked. Just when I thought my collection was complete.
And when we've done our My Bloody Valentine's reviews of both movies, we actually got so much feedback about love for the minor character as, a slasher killer,
Yeah.
but also from those movies. Like, I know you guys will be excited to hear this. They're making an ultimate minor killer from the original. Well, I think it's the original My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
Is it? Is it the original?
I mean,
I think it's the original.
the cover was the original.
Yeah,
yes.
that's the image that I'm remembering.
And the heart box with the heart inside.
Oh yeah, there's a little box, like a to scale box with a little scale heart inside. Pretty freaking cool. There's a red shirt Star Trek guy with an Alf puppet walking by. Love that. Yeah, man. It's I'm looking for Ghostbusters toys for my son. I want and we looked at like two or three places yesterday that didn't have any, and you're like, they had Transformers, they had Ninja Turtles, they had G.I. Joes, they had some like second or third tier shit like GoBots or those little guys that I forget what the Sky Lords or Sky Warriors that used to slide on the thread across the room, but like no Ghostbusters yet, like vintage Kenner.
You want the vintage Kenner ones?
If I could find them, but I would get
do you
whatever.
Do you want to pay for the re-releases, or are you looking for the originals?
Don't necessarily care as long as it's for a 4-year-old who's going to
break them,
immediately break the movable pieces on the proton pack.
Well, you'll never find an Egon with the tie anyway. So the one that flips up. Never.
Okay, there were 4 of those. I don't remember what they were called exactly, but they were like some sort of fright expressions.
Yep.
So Egon, when you squeezed his arm or his leg, his head went up.
His jaw would drop.
His jaw dropped, and his blue tie, went up.
Boing, boing, tie
Do you
boner.
remember what Peter did?
Peter, his eyes would bug out. No, hold on. His head would spin around.
Yep. Head spin around.
What?
His mouth was really... I think his jaw stayed at the bottom, his lower jaw.
Yeah.
And his head spun around so that when he's done, he had a giant open mouth like this.
Yeah. And then, no, that was Winston. That was Winston, guaranteed. That was Winston.
Oh, no, you're right. Winston did do that.
Winston's head spun around, and then
Peter's eyes?
His eyes bug out and his jaw dropped, and then Ray Stans, when you popped him,
Peter's hair, I think, went up.
And his hair popped up, yeah? Anyway.
Well, I don't know. I think we have all the right things happening, but maybe not on the right people. I'm hoping to get the regular, like the first edition ones where the characters didn't do anything except come with the spinning proton packs.
Yeah.
But I would take what I could get. And Kent is a Peter Venkman man, so I'm hoping to find that.
I have them at home. My mom found them, the originals.
And your mom was like, "What's this?"
Yeah, goofy. They were, those are good toys. But I'm excited for that. Yeah. The only Ghostbusters toys I've seen. Look at that dog with shoes on.
it's a
Can that
lightsaber
dog be on camera? Do you mind? What a good dog!
boy.
Unless it's a Sith, then it's a bad dog.
Oh my God. I love this dog.
She's turning everyone to the bark side. She's a bad dog, they said.
You are so good.
Sith and...
Sithany.
Good girl.
Good girl.
She's amazing.
Bye,
Have a great
Sithany.
con, you guys. That was fantastic.
Sithany, the Australian Shepherd.
Well, yeah, the little person in there has the best cosplay we've seen.
Oh.
I said that, I was like, was that not PC or funny? I was like,
the only Ghostbusters toys I saw were like $3,000 or $4,000 a piece.
here, you saw them here?
I mean, they weren't toys; they were like statues for adults.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I saw those.
I think I saw a Funko, but like,
Yeah, no, I need something to play
Yeah.
with playability. But we'll find that's today. We were trying to do a couple things. Today, this is like the work we wanted to get done. And I think the rest of the day we have to just shop and nerd around and goof off. And
Rachel, have you seen any toys that were like, oh, I need that, or I want that,
Toys?
but I don't need that? Toys, anything?
Merch.
Something you saw? Yeah, you're like all the stuff.
All
did you
the
just talk
stuff.
to that dog?
Arf. Bark. No, the one thing I really wanted, which was to meet one of my favorite artists, Joelle Jones, and I got to do that. I made her cry, not full on cry, but tear up.
Because Rachel approached her from the back and jumped on her.
Yeah, bit her neck and was like, no, you suffer. No. She writes and draws for a comic book called Lady Killer, and it is amazing. It is full of like 1960s camp. It is really well thought out, but also just fun. And like, it's about a perfect like suburban stay-at-home mom housewife who moonlights as a contract killer.
Love it.
And it is wonderful. She literally, in one of the volumes, chops somebody up and puts their bodies in Tupperware as if she's hawking the Tupperware, because that's what they would do at that time.
Yeah.
Tupperware parties.
Tupperware parties, yeah.
So I made sure, because everyone's in like tables and stuff like that. I now, like, instead of standing over her like everybody does when they come in and they bring their prints and stuff like that. And I didn't have anything. The only thing I wanted to do was meet her. So I knelt down and we ended up talking. I talked her dead in the eye and was just telling her how important their comic has been to me, how it's helped me get through some really rough times. And then she started tearing up. She asked for my name. We then held hands. It was a very feminine moment in a wonderful way.
But how sweet. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool. Wow. Cool.
I'm glad you talked before I did, because I was going to ruin the moment by being a joke.
Being a jerk. Classic Matt.
You saved it, though.
I think it's sweet. I mean, that's the thing. When you get to meet these people and it's like, I feel for them on events like this, because they're in this rinse and repeat mode. And a lot of time you meet them and immediately they're just like, click, they hit play, and the same script comes out of their mouth that you just heard them say to the guy in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're like, but he said it to me this time, so it's special. And it's like, I understand how frustrating it must be to constantly just feel like you are in this like little mini time loop of the same 3 minutes to every person. You're like, oh, you're a fan? Thank you. Oh, cool. Thanks for listening.
Right.
Cool. What's your favorite book? Yes, that's my favorite book too, obviously. And it's like that must be exhausting and mind-numbing. And you meet people who are like, oh, he's mind-numb.
The third person that came over was like, great panel tonight. I was like, yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
When you get to 30, then we'll start talking.
But it's like, I feel for them, but I also like hope that when we encounter them, I hope we try and give them a special moment. Like you said, getting down to their level so they're not like craned up looking at you. That's important. That's something that shows a little bit like, I am aware that you are looking up at people all day and you're just kind of like, my neck's sore.
I think we all, because like you're a nerd and you actually, I think you have a more narrow scope of nerd than he and I usually do, I think. But like when you talk to a creator or someone that you care about, there are those times you feel like it is just like an interaction and an exchange, but there are times you feel connected where you're like,
yes,
I know that we're talking. I know that it's like a discussion. You feel like you're getting something out of it. I'm getting something out of it. Then you part ways. You're like, that was cool. And you hope that they feel the same way.
Yeah.
And I think like you and I for sure had that as a launch pad, but I know I for sure had that as a fan with a couple other people that I talk with. So it's like, I think that's one of the cooler parts of the con that you really can't. It's probably really hard to explain that to somebody who hasn't had it. I don't think it's con specific, But to be able to talk to someone that does something that you care about, and let them know, like, hey, you made something that means something to me, and know that they actually appreciate hearing that, and then you appreciate their appreciation. I think that's like a fun interaction. And I guess you could have it outside of a con, but a con is like a great place for that.
Well,
right?
I think one of the things that's good about cons or creators or artists in general is that what you're doing right there is you're going, that human element, that thing that you put in,
right?
I understood whether it was the literal thing that you were trying to say or my interpretation of it.
Right.
But that it's just that like, not to get all high and mighty here or anything like that, but like it's that like across the world we have connected because of your art.
Sure. Yeah. And what I would think, like, what?
And she literally came from across the world. She's from Europe. She literally flew here for this con.
Yeah.
So that's why it's international, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, and that's the connection, right? Because I think she knows that she reached you through her work, and that's got to be, I would think that's rewarding to any creator, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we 2 people have been like, hey, we saw you, and we were like, yeah, the power.
Hey, when you were talking about dinosaurs killing kids, I thought it was cool. Yeah! I appreciate your appreciation.
It is cool.
Trivia guys.
Yeah. Oh, that was so fun. Yeah, on the bus, and then everybody's like, what are these guys doing? And we're like, cards.
Flyer.
Flyer. Give me. It's been great, man. I am in an afterglow today.
Well, we have there's 45 more minutes till it closes. Let's go downstairs and do some shopping.
Let's do some nerd shit, man.
Yeah.
Hey, let's blast it off before we do. Rachel, thank you so much for helping us this time. This has been so fun.
You know the handshake for sure.
Are we like all slamming into my hand? Okay.
All together. We're gonna all in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Whoosh.
Launchpad Podcast. We are here at Comic-Con 2023.
Blasting off.
We're the Rocketeers and we're out.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.